All right, Wadi, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, bro, to have you here. Because you are a bona fide consultant in a multinational firm, which shall remain unnamed, of course.
Thank you for that.
And it's relevant because this is the Board Consultant Podcast. So, I'm very happy to have you here. In fact, I did the intro wrong. I wanted my face to be on camera alone while I hype you up, give you a stellar introduction, but the cat's already out of the bag. But again, this is the Board Consultant Podcast, and we have you, Wadi, a fintech consultant. So if you could just give a quick introduction as to who you are in three keys.
What
are the three?
Podcast.
You go as deep or as shallow as you choose. The three cornerstones of who makes up Wadi.
Oh man. 3 cornerstones of who makes up Wadi. Alright. Thirsty when it comes to technology. Always looking up for, the latest things. Never complacent.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Pillar 2. Never complacent, pillar 2.
Because it's like technology.
Yes.
Complacency that we avoid.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
The lack of that. Or putting controls over that.
Limiting.
Discipline.
The 3 pillars that make a Wadi the man. Discipline, non-complacency. I feel like discipline and non-complacency go hand in hand.
I would like to separate them. I decouple these 2 things because you can still be disciplined, but you can get complacent when you get too comfortable with certain technology that you're working with.
Okay.
You see what I mean? And then the moment you get too complacent and comfortable, and something new comes up, and you don't have that drive
to learn the
new thing,
yeah,
that's where you fall off the bandwagon.
You become less elastic.
Exactly. And then now your options are smaller.
You're more prone to breaking, snapping.
And then by then you start losing some of the soft skills, that you thought you had and whatnot. See what I mean? So that's why I separate these 2 things.
That's interesting. Okay, yeah.
Those are the 3 pillars.
I definitely believe when you. I think you live what you preach, because I prepared some nice potato crisps for you, and you very swiftly, pun intended, given the economic climate we're in, very swiftly rebuffed my sweet tea, my sparkling water, and potato chips. It's okay. I'll just enjoy myself. It's the weekend for me. But okay, so the 3 pillars that make up a technology. You love technology. You currently work in technology. Now, the sector of technology you work in particular, is fintech, financial technology.
Yes.
That's exploded. It's always been primordial in economy. I feel like it's always been primordial, but it's now magnified with the
globally. It is, yes.
It makes things global. In
fact. Yeah. I mean, everyone. I'm not sure if I set this up. Sorry, guys. Should have tightened this.
That's that consultant savvy kicking in. Look at that.
So yeah, I mean, globally, right? When it comes to fintech, but I just want to make it clear, it's not just fintech that I limit myself to. My main career is within fintech, but I do a lot of other things on the side, technology related.
Okay.
But again, like also these things, I cannot really go much in details. But I mean, I'll just put it this way, like these days, especially like you mentioned, today's economy, like all these things, you cannot depend and rely on one approach, if that makes sense. You
have to be dynamic.
Exactly. You have to be dynamic, and being dynamic helps you get out of that complacent state, because you're never going to be comfortable with your environment. You see what I mean? You're always changing environments. That happens in consulting, but it also happens outside consulting if you choose for that to happen.
That's what life is, bro. Every moment, your cells change. I think every day you shed. Your skin 100% sheds after how many days? I think every 5 days.
I'm not a.
Me neither. I'm
But
just,
you know,
you know,
that's true though. It's true. You know, like that does happen, right? There is a recycle.
constant.
Yeah.
It's a part of what we call reality, etc.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool, man. So fintech, obviously, technology is the passion. Now you mentioned some other things. So I knew you did say that you don't want to get too much into it, but could you just talk about the genre, so to speak? That those are, is it more design work, front end design work, or
Full stack.
full stack development? So front end as well as back end.
Back end. You know.
Business consulting.
Business consulting, not a fan.
Oh, you're not a fan of it?
No.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, you know, like I grew up in a household that was all business oriented, business overseas, you know, in Lebanon.
And it's a very stale archetype.
And it's like yeah, you know, like I just I feel like the business is somewhat integrated in me to the point where I don't have a drive for the business, you know. I do have a drive for the technology part that supports the business. You see what I mean? Like even if it comes to, you know, sales or whatnot, as you move up within the chain, the command chain of consulting, and you know, everything starts becoming more sales related. I've always envisioned myself sticking to tech sales. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I'm not gonna come here and sell you strategy, right? If it's not technical, you know. Like how are we gonna technically implement this?
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Value proposition. How what's the value proposition for this tech? What's the angle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean the value prop. Wait, sorry, I lost you here for a second.
Okay.
So the, you know, if you're referring to as value prop as in, you know, like the for what we're gonna implement. Yeah. I mean that's literally it. You know. Yeah. It's that's where, you know, like I feel like that's it. That's my niche.
Oh, so it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I would think most fintech consultants, I think as they move up in the hierarchy of consulting, that invariably ends up being where they excel because they have that experience, that low level experience, you know, and as they move up in the chain, you know, I think the vision becomes very clear as far as like.
Oh yeah. And then, you know, like whoever's, you know, starting up in consulting, I mean, I always say just you gotta know there's a difference between being a consultant, software engineer, and being a software engineer. Yeah. You know, like it's a big difference, right? You want to be a software engineer, you know, consulting might be a good place for you, but if you cannot survive within the consulting environment, right? Because being a software engineer is something, but being a consultant, you know, you have to be a speaker. You have to be client facing.
Yes.
You have to be able to voice yourself, break out of your shell.
Yes.
You know, a lot of times, unfortunately, you know, like people within our domain, you know, do not want that and avoid it. You see, and this is where, you know, this is right for you or not.
Consulting.
Exactly. You know, this is where, you know, whether it's like, hey, I'm good to stay here in this environment, or I think I'm better off working for a company and staying there, grandfather
in the back of the kitchen, back of the house.
I mean,
the kitchen.
You know, I'm just gonna be the chef.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be the manager asking, you know, my customers or guests, right, like how's the food tasting right now. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be that person. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I believe there's people designed and meant to fill up any role, every role, you know, out there, right? But I learned that finding myself within, you know, consulting when I was an associate initially.
Of course,
right? Yeah. Like I came in with a drive that I just want to build,
and yeah,
you know. But then, you know, like
a lot of other things are required of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and then that actually starts pulling you
in a different direction, away from the passion, the original passion.
Exactly. You know, and sometimes you might be working on something that's not even within. You know, it's like, hey, pick this up, learn it, deploy it. You know what I mean?
That's expansion. You're becoming.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Right? but a lot of people, don't feel comfortable with
Yeah,
it. You know, so it's like, how comfortable are you
with the unknown.
with the unknown?
Yeah.
You know, an unknown is scary.
It can be.
Uh,
It
That's
can
scary,
be.
man.
But is there really anything to be scared of, Wadi?
I think
Because
there is. I think
a lion, like a tiger chasing me, yeah.
dude. I mean, I think if you don't have fear, you know, then you end up, somehow shooting yourself in the foot.
If you don't have fear.
Yeah, you have to fear.
Fear.
You have to fear the unknown, right? Like, I'm not
You can't
saying
be reckless. You don't want to be reckless.
exactly. Like, I'm not saying, just go in there and, like, oh, whatever, all's good. But at the same time, I genuinely do believe that unknown has to make you take a step back and think things through
And
before you
calculate.
take action.
And calculate.
Exactly.
Yeah, be measuring in your approach. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
And it makes sense coming from a senior consultant. You know what I'm saying?
It's not an easy path, man.
Yeah, it's not an easy path, but you're doing well. You're doing well, man. So, but so you and I'm bringing this up now because you mentioned Dubai, and recently I came across a story where in Dubai, which is a hub of innovation, is becoming like globally renowned, a hub for innovation, and it's really impressive how the brand of Dubai has taken off recently. Technology, I would say, being at the forefront of that brand explosion.
Yeah.
You don't seem to agree too much.
No, actually, I do, to a certain extent. Like, I feel like, okay, it's a very general statement, but it is a true statement. It is not a false statement. Okay.
It is a general statement.
Yeah, like, so I'll put it in perspective. I've been to Dubai multiple times.
Yeah.
I stop there, when I go to Lebanon and visit my family.
That's awesome.
I have friends who live there.
That's awesome.
College friends that I grew up with.
I have a friend that lives there. African.
Yeah.
From the UK. African Kingdom girl lives in Dubai. Marketing.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. It's a different environment.
Yeah.
Forget the culture.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the work culture. It's
the work culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't have the 9 to 5 concept.
They don't.
No. They have the I call you pickup concept.
I call you. Oh, remote work.
I mean, not just remote. It doesn't necessarily need to be remote. It could be hybrid and whatnot. But as in, like, when I say I call you pickup, it means it doesn't freaking matter what time it is.
Oh.
Like, it's 8 p.m. I need something. You have to deliver.
But you don't have a clocking time.
Basically, I mean, but you do have to be there. You have to
be prepared.
You have to be available.
You're getting paid.
You have to be available. Now, the nice thing about Dubai is Dubai's ecosystem supports that lifestyle.
Ecosystem supports the lifestyle.
You can be sitting so today, in the US, you're working, right? You work 9 to 5, you get off at 5 o'clock, you're like, oh, I need to go get groceries.
Yeah.
You can order groceries.
Yeah, grow up.
It's going to be 10 times more expensive than getting it.
Yeah.
Right? So you're probably going to avoid that because it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, to be fiscally.
It doesn't, it's like, why would I go and order $60 pizza on DoorDash when I can get the same pizza for $15 just driving?
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah.
Right? Now, in the US, it's like, okay, you have this 5 o'clock, I'm out, or 6 tops, I'm out,
My kids turn 18, you're an adult.
Oh, yeah. Or it's more like, 5:30. 4:45. Oh, I have to go pick up the kids, and I'll be back, and just like log out, and people have their lives like very structured, and it's like but that's not the lifestyle in Dubai when you're working in consulting.
When you're working in consulting, so we're narrowing down. Okay,
it's not. Like in Dubai consulting, I have friends who work for BCG and bigger, like big consulting groups, and when I go to visit. Even after 5 o'clock, I need to make sure that they have time for me to hang out with them.
Yeah.
Because, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
There's times where they're working at 9:30 p.m.
Wow. $1 million contracts.
11 p.m. Yeah, contracts tailored more to Asia, Middle East region.
Yeah. That's big money.
And sometimes when you're
it's a lot of capital.
You could be working on big projects like NEO. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Neom?
Yeah, the smart city that they're building in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I heard about it.
Huge project.
Oh man, the technologists that must be involved in
You
that.
can only imagine, like, yeah, and there's so many consulting groups, sticking their noses,
Of
poking,
course.
like trying to offer support, right, and then all the way down there, right?
We can help
And-
whatever you need.
Yeah, exactly, right, and it's like,
Some
well,
QA.
yeah, like who's leading these projects,
Who's leading?
royal family. See what I mean? So when the royal family asks for something, you deliver. You're not responding back to VP of blah blah blah. No offense to the VPs, or like directors or whatnot. It's a different ecosystem, Like you cannot tell the royal, the prince or whatnot. Oh, we're not gonna deliver this tomorrow, because it doesn't make sense. Because my guy needs to go to the gym. He's off after 5 o'clock. You see what I mean?
Work-life balance.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't really exist much, which can somehow. But like I said, the ecosystem over there supports it. You can do everything over your phone. I'll tell you a small, like a. I'll give you. I'll put it in perspective. Last time I was in Dubai was 4 months ago.
Nice.
Less, maybe 3 months ago. We land, and my wife's on her phone.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hold up, like I need to do these things." I'm like, "Sweetheart, how do you do? We gotta get this stuff. We landed. Like, let's go. We have a baby with us. Like I want to get out." And she's like, "Hold on." And she's still on her phone. And I said, "Okay, I'm done." We get to our apartment, and 10 minutes in, the door knocks. "Hello, I'm here for eyebrow appointment." It's roughly 9:30. No, 7:45 p.m. Okay.
Evening, morning.
Evening.
Okay.
Right. I'm here for an eyebrow appointment. Lady's working on her eyebrows. Knock on the door again. "Hello, hi, Hey, I'm here for a hair appointment." Someone's working on her hair. Knock on the door again. "Hey, I'm here to tailor clothes."
Oh my god.
"Sure, Habibi, what are we tailoring?" Okay. Knock on the door again. "Hey, I'm here to clean shoes."
Oh my gosh.
Habibi, what shoes are we cleaning?
Is this loosely based on reality or is this
No, this is
non-fiction?
This is like
Non-fiction.
This is Dubai lifestyle, and let me put it in perspective. For whoever's listening to this podcast, it's almost like half the price of whatever you're paying in the US having to drive and do these things.
But how we delivered?
See what I mean?
Well, because the currency rate.
I mean, it's not the currency; it's
It's
just
relative.
the way the Dubai economy works. Dubai is sold as super expensive and oh my god, luxury. I would like, that's a false statement. It should be sold as here are all your options. You can pick and choose. See what I mean? You want gold in your burger? You can order gold in your burger. You want a regular burger for $5? You can get yourself a healthy regular burger for $5. You see what I mean? Miami, on the other hand, is a different story. Miami, you don't have these options.
Limited.
Miami is like you just go to Miami, you're just gonna get wrecked.
Yeah, it's a price gouging.
Yeah, you have no options.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm jumping all over the place, right? Back to that environment, ecosystem that we're talking about, right? So it's like, look at how many services my wife ordered over the phone, which took her 5 minutes while we were landing on the plane. That's what I'm trying to put in perspective. Okay? Very simple, very easy to reach, with no confusion or any issues. Everything was done within that night, within the range of 2 hours. Okay? She got her lashes, hair, eyebrows, tailored pants, clean shoes, all within us just landing the first night. Okay? that kind of makes sense. You need that kind of service because if you're going to be working from 9 to 11 p.m., or on call, on demand, you don't know when you're going to be called in or when you're going to be needed for something. You can't live the lifestyle of, oh, I'm just going to go do my errands now. Oh, I'm going to go do that. No. Now, okay, hey, what about fitness lifestyle? You can do that. You can carve off an hour and say, hey, I'm going to go work out, do whatever, blah, blah, but then you have to be available. You see, and you do it with your own, like with a sense of responsibility. You know what I mean? Like if you need to deliver something by 11 p.m., it's up to you to choose whether you want to work out from 10 to 11, after 11, before it. You know what I mean? Like if you want to work out in the morning, afternoon, you don't have meetings, you don't have calls, you want to do this, go for it. Travel has picked back up since COVID, so you do have to fly out to, client sites um, every other week. For some, they're 100% back on site. Yeah, so it depends.
Stupid.
But that depends on the client.
Yeah.
That depends on the client. And I feel like the U.S. We do a better job of in some areas in the U.S. I can tell you, New York clients are very similar to Dubai um, mindset.
The Mecca of it all.
Yeah, like New York, for example. I know that
They get it.
when I fly up there and I put in work, um, there are days where I don't leave the office until like 7:30 p.m. And I could be there from 7 in the morning. So 12-hour shifts. It's like you don't really question anymore. How often do these happen? Every now and then, as a consultant.
I would say once every quarter. You have at least one a quarter.
Well, yeah, I mean, I used to, when I was traveling last year up to New York for work, I was going twice a month.
Nice, man. That's pretty cool.
It was cool. It was a great experience, but a lot of people would ask me, hey, like, would you have, how's New York? Like, oh, did you have fun in New York? But it's like my friend. I never saw the sun. I genuinely never saw the sun. I would wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, take a shower, straight up to the office. Like, fortunately, they were in the same building.
That's amazing. Yeah, the building right there in Manhattan.
Yeah, and then like I would do what I have to do, and then work, and you're working, and I mean, I'm working in a division where you don't really have windows in the building; they're all blacked out.
Oh my gosh.
So,
are you working in risk assets or managed accounts?
I mean,
never mind.
Yeah. But then like you come out of the building and you're like, all right, the moon's still there where I saw it last. So that's what I would see. And then like most of the work is in financial district, right? FDC. And then like when you're there, everything after 8:30 is just like it's a ghost town. I mean, I have a joke with my brother. I mean, you can shoot a Spider-Man movie there, because of like the scenery and everything. There's no cars, there's no people, like you can literally just use the whole city.
Are you discussing New York right now?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the financial district. Wall Street.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
That area.
Yeah.
That's the environment there, man. So besides work,
Well, so my takeaway from everything you just said is like, yeah, it's a very demanding career. It seems like it's a very demanding career as far as the pressure. I think the unpleasantness, the friction, comes from clients that have poor etiquette. I think that's where most of the friction comes from, and then our own coworkers, the ones above us that take on that attitude and deliver directives in that spirit as well.
Yeah, that could happen. That does happen, right? It happens, but I think we're in a place right now. See, I'm a '90s kid. I was born in '92. Okay. I feel like we're in an era, a very interesting era, right? Where you have very old school, you know, um, uh, legacy, I want to say, oriented people that work in all industries,
Yeah.
you know. And then you have a combination of, like the new young bloods, you know what I mean, that come with like the latest technology, right? That understand the latest studies, that have done, have been exposed and have utilized, take AI for instance, right? Certain things, and they come off as very intimidating to the older person who does not understand.
The person that's pushing against that wants to break the status quo.
Almost.
And then the older crowd wants to maintain the status quo. Whoa, this is how we've been doing it for the past 50 years.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
It works. Why are we
Yeah.
it's not broken, so just it works.
Oh, that's such a poor mindset.
Right? It is. Now, you see, there's a shift that's happening, but like we're still on the, I feel like we're still on the 25 percentile of, that shift, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, there's still that pushback that you hear. There's still that fear of, oh, I'm gonna lose my title, I might lose my job.
So much ego.
Because it's this younger person knows more than me.
Yeah, knows the new stuff. Yeah.
And there's and I think that's what causes a lot of what you're talking about. Where it's like the etiquette. It's like, well, how do you know? Who told you? I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been doing this for 30 years. Yeah, cool, like good on you,
Respond with precision. Respond with precision. Exactly, a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
These are the reasons. That's speaking from sitting in a comfortable chair, of course. I'm in a comfortable chair, not feeling the emotions coming at me. You know what I'm saying?
But you see what I'm talking about? Like it's like that's and that goes back to the etiquette that you were talking about, and that's very that's happening today everywhere. It's not just fintech.
It's part of the workforce. You have different cultures. You have multi generations in the workforce.
You see, there's cultures, there's ages, there's religions. There's there's differences. Yeah, there's so many differences. Which is a beautiful thing. Like, don't get me wrong, but can sometimes turn into corporate toxicity.
Bro, you cannot have the quote unquote good without the quote unquote bad. It's
exactly.
Positive and negative charges are fundamental to what we perceive as humans. Does that make sense?
There's no shadows without light.
A powerful analogy. It's crazy the way life works. But this is the framework of reality.
Yeah.
It's the framework. So let's enjoy this shit, man. As much as we can.
I know.
We're getting paid to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's why, I tell everyone. It's like, yeah, you can be tired, you can, but I'm not complaining, I'm not complaining because I'm working. I might be complaining because my body's aching and I'm tired, you know what I mean? I'm complaining about myself. I'm not complaining about the opportunity that I have and, being able to provide for my family.
Of course,
you see what I mean?
Of course.
That's what I separate, that's how I like to separate things, and that's how I like that's how I define things, So sometimes, like, you finish working, this sucks, But yeah, what sucks is that I feel tired, and there's so many things that I want to do, and I can't do them, because I'm tired.
But it's the game of life. Finding the solutions to maximize our energy, our time between the responsibilities that we have, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a fine game that we're playing in this game called life. But aim for your high score. Do the best you can. And keep trying to improve. This is the perspective that propels me in taking action and continuing to strive, etc. And enjoying the process as much as I can. It does get frustrating at times, but that's the natural.
Dude, you know this more than anyone. Like, I feel like you've been through the roller coaster, and I see you, like, pushing through and whatnot during the downs and the ups.
Yeah.
I have you on social media.
Yeah.
And it's very, motivating sometimes, to
Yeah.
see an individual, like push through, just
Yeah.
hustle,
Yeah.
know.
I mean, that's the point. That's the point. Vitality.
It is.
The philosophy that literally drives me not remaining stagnant is the realization that the vitality we have, the youth that we have,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with every breath is required for us to continue on, but at the same time, each breath brings us closer to the last one. So it's like, bro, I have to maximize the youth, the vitality, the vigor I have. I have to maximize it because it's dwindling every moment, every blink of the eye. I'm getting closer to being a senior citizen. Like, you know what I'm saying? My tests dropping to mediocre levels.
Oh, dude.
No!
Let's not go there. When I turned 20, I think it was like 25, 26, I started monitoring my stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I realized, like, as long as I'm eating clean food
Your test levels
and I work out, or, somewhat like exercise, right? And try to stay active,
Yeah.
your test levels will be fine.
Oh yeah, my test levels are literally at the peak, my friend.
That's good, bro.
The peak, yo.
That's good.
I'm so pleased with that. I'm
That's
so
good,
pleased
man.
with that.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
yeah. So peak level testosterone. That's a badge of honor for me. But moving on from that to talk about but let me just touch on one thing real quick that I wanted to, and it's with AI and LLMs and how in Dubai there's a restaurant called the Woohoo Restaurant. And the big feature of this restaurant is that it's driven by AI. There's a there's a digital chef that's like the face of the restaurant. That's broadcasted on the walls. That interacts, jokes, laughs, discusses, interacts, and then they use LLMs to literally spin up menus. So all the food choices are spun up by LLMs, and from literally a Word document, some sort of document that contains thousands, millions of data points, they created an entire business from it. They gave it a storefront.
Yeah.
I mean, it's called the Woohoo. It's called the Woohoo Restaurant in Dubai.
Have you heard of the concept ghost kitchen?
Yes.
Okay. When we started having ghost kitchens here, Dubai had ghost kitchens 6 years before us.
They're progressive.
You know?
So how's the economy in Dubai? Oh, the health of it. Jobs.
It's weird. It's weird.
Okay. No,
why is it weird? Like Dubai was, as a city, was built in the middle of the desert out of nothing, like thin air. There were no trees, there was no grass. There was no beach that had the palm. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
All this is man-made. You know, a lot of the stories behind what made Dubai what it is today is, oh my god, that sounds like very sketch, man. But like, there's a lot of money laundering that happened that made Dubai what it is today.
A lot of money laundering that happens here.
Yeah, but
It's different. There's levels.
Yeah, like the regulations in Dubai are not as strict as they are in the US. I'll just put it this way. This is why when the crypto hype appeared, right? When in 2017, 2018, 2019, when all the countries were like pushing back and whatnot, Emirates didn't care. Bring your Bitcoin and put them, put your whatever, who cares? I'm not gonna ask you, like where you got this money from and what you did, and I'm not gonna KYC you, I'm not gonna, like question, hey, you're spending here, spend it, you're buying here, buy it. You see what I mean? That's the difference between, here and there. That's why I say it's weird, Um, there's a lot of these skyscrapers that you see, right? And a lot of them post COVID have become, almost like shell apartments because Russians came in and started purchasing just like tons of them, you know.
In Dubai.
In Dubai, of course, and They probably made that money from, the whole Ukraine war, like whatnot, Russian oligarchs, right? They'll go and buy all these properties. No one's gonna say anything to that. You see what I mean? Like, um,
Warlords, essentially.
yeah,
Buying property.
So and then you have, like your typical. I feel like, Dubai has a dark side and has a light, like it has a happy go lucky side. Does that make sense?
Of course it does. It's advertised as the place to be. It's like probably the hottest.
Exactly.
It's the sexiest.
Yeah, but
destination.
As long as you don't get involved with the underground, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
You're safe. It doesn't get safer than that. You do your job. You're gonna make beautiful money.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna get taxed. Unless you're an American citizen, the U.S. will tax you, but the Emirates is not gonna tax you. Um, you, your everything is almost, like well balanced. Even though there is inflation, I don't think they're hit as much as we are.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but they don't have, the luxury of low, how can I say, minimal down payment to buy a house is $20,000 and then go figure it out and be in debt forever, like in interest. They don't have that. You know what I mean? They have, you need to put in 30% of the property as a down payment, and your interest rate is going to be like pretty decent, which puts you in a way better, it's almost like you have to have money to live there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There has to be substance to you. You can't be all credit.
Yeah, exactly. The credit is not what makes you in Dubai. Like in the US, you can live off credit and somehow figure out a way to pay it back or write it off.
More loans. Write it off like you said.
Yeah, like a lot of people here have loopholes. I don't know. Like they have good lawyers.
Interesting.
They know how to.
Alright, so enough of Dubai. We dove
deep
into that.
We went way too deep into that.
We almost started talking about the archaeology of Dubai.
Yeah.
We avoided that topic. So
we're bored, right? So,
yeah, you're right. You're right. This is the spirit. This is the spirit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, why you're bringing me home. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
So what I wanted to touch on though, because we were talking about the generation, the generational gaps that exist in the workforce. I want to focus particularly on the financial sector. And the reason why I want to do that, based on what we were discussing, is the Federal Reserve, the head of the money supply, right?
Yeah.
That is the head of that institution, which, as far as I understand, isn't a governmental institution. It's an independent institution. But the head of that institution is a very old school status quo, Jerome Powell. And his fellows around him that sit at his table are all like last generation, last couple paradigms ago. So how do you think that's affecting the overall economy today, especially in America? For the American economy to be in the position it's in now, like nobody's dared to really shuck the status quo and try something different. But we drove all the way down the hill. We kept the car rolling down the hill till it got to this point, where interest payments now are in the trillions, I believe.
I mean, man, you see a lot of podcasts these days talking about this stuff on social media, right? There's a lot of people that key up, and mention talk about all the corruption and whatnot that we have, internally that happens, within, I want to say, our government as well as, dependent entities. You know what I mean? Like or sub government entities, like what you're referring to. The Federal Reserve.
Yes.
Right. Like it's not like they're not the government. But somehow,
yeah, I'm getting right. I don't like the Federal Reserve. I feel like there's so much militia there.
I mean, the moment we rolled off backing our dollar to gold was the day we shot ourselves in the foot.
How many years ago did that happen?
I don't know, man. Honestly, like, I can't tell you specifically. but I think it was it Jimmy Carter who did that?
I want to include researching that topic right now in the episode, but
yeah, I mean,
but it's cool. But either way,
let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's see.
Is that the latest iPhone?
Yes. Yeah, I change my phone once every 5 years.
5 years, okay.
So I use it until the battery starts dying so often that I have to charge it 3
times
times
a day.
Good.
That's good. I thought you were on your consumer vibes. New iPhone every year.
No, I'm not like that. I do the same thing with our cars. Still
Mhm,
drive the same car, since 2021. It works, it runs, I'll keep it for the next 9 years and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah, man. I mean, life isn't about the material things. It's about enjoying what's had, I feel like. So,
which president rolled us off
oh man,
the dollar? No, rolled us off begging.
Alright, we're back. Alright. So we just did some deep research. And what do we find out, Waddy?
It was President Nixon, 1971.
I believe Nixon was an actor. He was
I don't know, man.
Oh my god.
Honestly, dude, I'm the type, like, there's so many things happening out there right now.
Yeah, there is.
But when you have, your family and
you focus on the nucleus.
Exactly. Because see, I learned no matter how mad you get or how angry you get or if we don't all unite as a population and agree on a decision and then fight for it, as in take action and request, for example, that, hey, what is going on? Hey, show us transparency. Hey, why are you poisoning us through our food? Hey, why are you poisoning us through our water? Hey, why are you know what I mean? There's so many things out there that we could, but the reality of things is we're not. People are siloed. A lot of people lack the education to even understand what is going on and why things are going on.
Wow.
So there's no point on you yourself getting mad about it. And like I learned that if I don't like something, I'll just put myself somewhere else where I like it. You see what I mean?
Like why do we stay in America when we get taxed nearly half of our income?
Almost. I mean, we're pretty much there.
Yeah, literally, we get taxed on the money we make, and then the things we buy with the money that we made.
We get taxed for everything.
Like triple tax on the same income.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well get taxed to breathe.
It's crazy.
You'll never own a home in the States.
Well, you bought your home, I think, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but even when you're done paying off your home, you're always going to pay the government home taxes for the rest of your life. Property tax.
Yeah.
So how do you own the house if you're still paying on it? Now here's the thing. If I'm paying property tax for this and I'm paying, tax for that, and just like you said, and tax and tax and tax and tax and tax, where's all that money going to?
Nancy Pelosi's Porsche, her Ferrari that she bought her grandson.
I don't know, man. It goes to some weird places, bro. Like, again, go turn on social media. That's not coming from me. That's coming from, whatever we see and hear these days. It's like...
That's hilarious.
Shit, man.
That's hilarious, man. So, we'll end this conversation with this. Why think about it, man. Think about it, Wally. The bigger a company gets, let's just talk about the enterprise level.
Okay.
As companies grow, their waste, the amount of dollars that gets wasted increases as well. Think about nations. As those nations increase in population, tax dollars, and you have other humans managing those tax dollars. Think about the waste that occurs at that scale. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a horrific thought. I know. So, but let's move on from that because we don't want to stick on that.
Yeah, I mean, bro, like, you're going to see, like, oh, yeah, you're saying, okay, what, trillions of dollars? And now people are pushing the whole narrative, man, about, oh, like the government's gonna pump their money into Bitcoin, have that shit, like go all like skyrocket. This is not financial advice.
Thank you for that.
And then all of a sudden, like they're just gonna sell it off to pay off their debt,
That was the
and
aim.
then peg the dollar to a digital dollar, which I don't think they're ever gonna roll off from. It goes both ways. Like you're either gonna need digital gold, which is gonna be your Bitcoin, because here's the thing, right? Um, the dollar today is based is
Concept.
it's not really. People say just trust, but I think it's petrodollar.
Petrodollar.
Yeah.
Oil?
Petroleum. Wherever there's petroleum, the reason why the U.S. dollar is so powerful and the U.S. has control over the world and like all that good stuff is because nobody can trade petroleum without converting their currency to the U.S. dollar.
Okay, but there's a move to break away from that system. Evidenced by
BRICS.
Yeah.
BRICS. Saudi Arabia now breaking off from that.
The BRICS?
Yeah.
Or the dollar?
No, so BRICS, which is I think Brazil, Saudi Arabia, China,
South Africa. China,
Iran,
India,
and
Russia.
and Russia. I don't know if Iran's it, but anyways, like they've been recruiting.
Yeah.
A bunch of other
I heard a metric that the BRICS, they within the BRICS alliance, they controlled 42% of the global GDP.
42%, right? So
Something
it's still under 50, right?
But that's a massive.
And the rest is all US. You see, so now this goes back to like what you were talking about. Like Saudi Arabia now rolls off that for the petrodollar. That's why we're seeing some damage on our end. But this is why you're seeing now a big push in Venezuela.
A big push in Venezuela, or for them to become the oil haven.
Yeah, because Venezuela has more oil than Saudi Arabia.
Okay, so
if Saudi Arabia chooses to sell their oil now no longer in US dollars, that's going to be a big loss to us. But what will offset it is us controlling Venezuela.
Okay. So Trump has been Trump has been making some moves in Venezuela recently.
Because he knows.
Interesting. Observing the
geopolitical.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's a game of those people operate with different.
Thrones,
they operate with such a different mindset than the common worker, the common man. They have a different viewpoint, different perspectives, totally.
Well, yeah, they do.
Yeah, so it's very interesting, and I would love to like.
But also like they have the information that we lack.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
You're right. Yeah.
Like if you have information is so important, man. It's so important. Knowledge, education is so important. It doesn't, like the concept of he's a nerd or she's a nerd or whatever, like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because let me put it this way. It's something that my grandpa left me with before he passed.
Praise God.
It's like they can take your money, they can take your clothes, they can take your car, they can take your house. They can take your family away. They can take everything they want away. But the one thing they can't take away
your mind
is what you have in here.
Mm-hmm.
See? And what you have in here will bring you the money. Will bring you can get back your family.
Mm-hmm.
If they weren't killed, hopefully God forbid, knock on wood. But you see what I mean? Like it can you can bring everything back, like knowledge, information, understanding all these things, consistency and learning, growing as an individual. All these things it's like so powerful, man. It's not tangible. It's like so powerful to the point where once you have that, then you see those big dogs up there, right? They're playing Game of Thrones and like a big, it's like
at our expense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's not yours or mine or it's everyone's. It doesn't matter. There's no color, race, whatever. There's no. It's literally everyone. It's you live here, you're gonna get impacted. Period.
Yeah. So that's the reality of the world. It's the culture of the world. with this concept of money, which is an unnatural concept. I feel like
Yeah, I mean, but let me make this clear, right? Like, I mean, there's no perfect place. There is no perfect place. You know, there's the right place for the right time and whatever stage you are in life. But there is no perfect place. Anywhere you go,
why?
yeah,
Before all these concepts were laid onto reality, concepts like career, no, concepts like money and job and net worth and status, before these became so much at the forefront of the human psyche, these concepts,
yeah,
these abstractions, I feel like that's what complicates life and drives people insane. I feel like because they're like, we try to fit into these concepts. Like everyone tries to fit. Everyone tries to fit into these concepts. We all know that not everything can fit into the same peg or slot, whatever. Different shapes, different sizes. I mean, I just think about like the early humanity when there was none of these concepts, and we were just living life, being our natural selves, and just surviving and just enjoying. You know?
yeah, man. I mean, yes, but here's the thing. Like, I'm a capitalistic junkie.
Junkie.
Yeah, like I love, the fact that I love living in an environment where if I work hard or work smart or whatnot,
You bear the fruits.
I can make, like the money I need and do the things that I want.
Mhm.
Wealth for me is not buying a fancy car,
Mhm.
it's not buying the latest iPhone, it's being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want, without having
That's
to think
luxury.
twice about it.
That's luxury.
That's what, luxury, right? Like, I mean, but that's for me, like, so someone was like, hey, what, are you rich? I'm not rich because I can't do that yet.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? Doesn't matter what I'm wearing or how or what or
Fendi.
you know. Hey man, I'll tell everyone I got it discounted. It's a nice hat,
Okay, praise God.
Like, but back to that, right? It's if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do something for myself.
Of course.
Right? I mean, I believe that people should do that. A lot of people sometimes end up falling out of that, and they end up doing things just for other people to perceive them a certain way.
Yeah.
Like the P Diddy.
Yeah, that's
like it's right there. It's right there. Like, look at that guy. He had everything.
the most stark fact about P Diddy is because as a person like that was at the forefront of culture, of urban culture, influencing it. Literally, it goes from the culture goes from top down.
Yeah.
He was one of the faces because I don't think he ever held true power.
Honestly,
he's a mascot.
Founding father. I'll just put it this way. Founding father for pop culture, right? Like rap, hip hop. Like that whole industry. He was there. Like when you talk about Tupac, Biggie, Easy E. Like names that you don't need. Dr. Dre. You know what I mean? That's fine. I was watching a documentary with my wife. And she's like, "How do you know?" Like, I don't know. Like, I was kind of obsessed with them. I was in seventh grade. Like that's what I used to listen to a lot. Like I had a friend who just got me into it. Like crazy. Snoop Dogg, and we're talking about old school. Snoop Dogg. Easy E, man, before he died. His tracks. Shit, man. NWA. Like. And P Diddy was there, but he was on the east side of it. He was on the east side of things, right? And it's like, my wife was asking me, it's like, how can someone who has so much, like, why would they ruin, why would they, why, But then it's funny because I open my feed and I'm scrolling and then I'm bored, right?
You're a consultant.
And I'm sitting here, and then one of my friends DMs me a video from Andrew Tate,
The top G, the top G,
right?
Shout out.
Shout out Top G. Top G says whatever he wants, does whatever he wants,
He has a fight coming up.
Yeah, he does. I'm actually interested in watching.
I am too. I am too.
But like it's funny because like for the first time, it's like and the comment says like Top G has awoken, or he's been enlightened, and he talks about I'll sum it down, right? Materialistic stuff. And he's like, here's the thing, he says, sit here, and I was like, whoa, this is Top G, like saying these things, like he's not cursing, and like saying funny stuff, like
Bombastic
stupid
things.
stuff or insulting stuff or whatever, the things that he usually does, right? But it's like, um, he sits here and he's talking about enjoy your dreams. Okay, enjoy every sip of your dream because the moment you accomplish this dream, you will want the next one. And if you get to a point in life where you've accomplished everything you could ever buy, then there's nothing else that you can purchase that's material, right? That what you start looking to buy is power.
Power.
Power, right? Like things that are non-tangible, you know. And that honestly like made so much sense when you look at politicians, for example, today. Take Donald Trump, our president, right? All the money, all the assets in the world, he has, man, like power plays everywhere. Okay,
he's open about it too.
Yeah, he's open about it, right?
I could respect that too.
But then, like it's not enough. Why would someone like Donald Trump want to be president?
Because that's a position that comes with a lot of perks. It comes with a lot of perks.
Power. Authority. See, things that no matter how much money you buy, like like, okay, you're gonna keep buying the biggest yacht and a bigger yacht and a bigger yacht and a bigger yacht and a big. But then what? Makhalas, it's just a yacht, man. I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? You buy a private jet, it's private jet, man. Like who cares? Okay, you buy a Ferrari, you buy your second Ferrari, you buy your third Ferrari. Man, I have 3 Ferraris.
That's a lot of insurance.
You know what I mean? Like you, these things you get to a certain point, and then now you start looking for weird, crazy shit. And then pivot over. Fuck that. Pivot over to P Diddy, for example. Now you see what I mean? This guy, like power, authority, money, assets, and then it's like now it became about power and authority and ego. You know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna celebrate your birthday without me there with you celebrating your birthday? Like, there's a part where he says like, "Oh, I'm partial God or whatever." You know what I mean? Like I'm a god now or whatever.
What, they talk about the documentary?
Yeah, you watched that?
I didn't see that.
Oh, dude, I'm not gonna ruin it for you. You have to watch it.
Really?
Like, you have to watch this because it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy how this shows you that like when you make so much money and like you start building your empire and whatnot when there's no longer, and that's why like when I saw that post from Andrew Tate, that story, I'm like, damn, that it resonated, it made sense, and dude, I'll put it in perspective. I mean, I know people overseas that their daily spend is like average of $16,000
daily,
like a daily spend, and believe it or not, you can do that. Yes, if you walk into Louis right now and you buy 4 purses because you like all 4 purses,
that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Just do the math.
You see what I mean? And then you walk over to Fendi, and you like not a hat, like you like a lot of other stuff like shoes and a bunch of clothes. The same way you go shopping to your, like at the mall or whatever, when you buy like online, a $4,000 item is just like a $40 item to a normal person. Yeah, you're gonna spend $16,000 a day.
Ridiculous.
When you don't accept to eat a steak from Walmart, like, and every day you want to go and eat, like top Argentinian, you know what I mean, like filet mignon. okay, then yeah, that's not gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you easy like $200, like in a restaurant. That's just a steak. You see what I mean?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but there's people that live like that.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, there are. But
Yeah.
moving on from that, though, I mean, yeah,
And we went into a rabbit hole. We
yeah,
must be so bored.
but well, yeah, we're board consultants, but I think it makes for good conversation.
It does. It does. It does. I mean, yeah.
The time is flying. The time is
It
flying.
is. What time is it?
It is 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What time do you have to get out of here?
I'm chilling, man. I mean,
Okay,
if
cool.
I have time, I'd like to go to the gym.
Oh wow, that's dedicated. Yeah, you've been dedicated to the gym since I met you.
I haven't. I haven't worked out the past 2 days.
Oh god, I thought you were gonna say weeks, maybe
No,
months.
yeah, dude, that's you see, like you want to pivot over to consulting. I'll put it this way: um, everyone, there has to be an outlet,
Yes,
right?
I agree.
That's my outlet.
Yeah, yeah.
See what I mean? So when I don't do it, it's like I feel like I'm not mentally
Not yeah, man. It's not optimized. It's not optimized.
exactly
Yeah.
mentally optimized, and then not being mentally optimized will impact my physical health. So I'll start feeling tired. I'll start eating shit, like bad food and whatnot, and then I'll feel worse about myself. And then when I start feeling worse about myself, that messes up my spiritual health. Where
It's a spiral.
it is. It's three things that always interdepend.
Yeah, yeah. Physical fitness is definitely one of my pillars for a healthy, just optimal state to achieve an optimal state.
Yeah.
A nice, healthy, vigorous workout session combined with a cold shower. Cold shower is 100%.
Oh man.
How do you feel about cold showers? How do you feel about you? I figured you would like cold showers, no?
Dude, I do actually. Like cold showers wake you up. Um, and I read so many good things about them.
Oh yeah.
But I can't do it every day, bro. Like, I'm not. Who's that guy, dude, who posts these videos where he wakes up at 5? No, the guy. What is it?
Wim Hof?
Is it? I don't know, dude. The guy that wakes up, like, he lives in Miami, like, wakes up at 5 a.m., dips his head in like, an ice bucket.
Oh, the guy went viral?
Yeah, and then apparently, like, runs so fast, all this shit.
And it's clearly not natty.
Yeah.
It's clearly not natty. Although he claims natty status. He claims natty status. He looks like an anime character.
He does, man. I mean, he does. Yeah. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm not like that. I mean, that's again, whoever wants to be like that, good on you, right? Like you can do it. But at this point, like we're not cyborgs, right? Like if this guy is so disciplined to do all these things, I can guarantee you he's not disciplined to do other things. You see what I mean? Like you can only do so much.
Well, he's very focused on. He's built up an appealing, I guess. I don't find it. It's not. It doesn't appeal to me. An online persona that's attracted a lot of attention. I think inherently people that work hard at building a persona, a portrayal of themselves. I think that anybody that works hard at building that, there's something amiss on the back end, which is why there's such an effort to cater to the front end, the superficial.
The superficial, but like I think I respect the consistency.
Oh yeah, there's some redeemable quality.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's a lot of work.
It is.
It's not just. The guy doesn't just come up and like starts shooting himself, like shooting videos about himself, right? Like, oh, here I am, blah blah blah, doing this. No, I mean, you have to be creative. You have to edit your stuff. Have someone maybe do it for you.
And be paying for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't think I mean, good on them.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
It's production. They're producing. Yeah, there's work in production of any type.
It's content.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. It's production.
So it's like I respect that part of it.
Yeah.
Now a lot of it could be. I mean, there's a lot online that's what's that word, man? I love that word. Brain rot. But like the fact that they were able to do it, pull it off, and have users actually watch
Engage.
and engage, and that means they succeeded.
And I think he sells courses as well. He sells lifestyle. Who knows?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, who knows?
But like when you get engagement and you got followers and you got that's good on you. Like
Yeah.
I mean.
But how do you see? And this is the capitalistic. This is the capitalist in me. I've been groomed into. How do you monetize that following? How do you leverage it to build a life? Build a life for yourself. It seems that he already has the life. I mean, who knows? Who cares?
Who knows, man? Some people fake it till they make it.
It doesn't even matter. Not to me. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But moving on from that, I want to dive into, because I know we've been here talking for a while. We've been talking for over an hour, believe it or not.
If you guys are bored, let us know.
Pun intended. Yeah. Pun intended. But I'm gonna pivot to where we started a little bit, the career.
Yeah.
So a consultant, because obviously we met at a consultancy, etc. And I remember you stated an ambition to me, which was a really cool ambition. You wanted to be partner at a Dubai office, etc., etc. There was so much spunk. There was so much zeal behind that. And obviously, 2.5 years or 2 years later,
it's been almost
3 years later.
2026.
Yes, yeah, you're right. And so obviously um there's the expectations, and then there's the reality.
Yeah.
So what about that dynamic has stood out to you the most in recent times? The zealousness for such a lofty ambition, to where you are today, right now, with your ambitions, how they evolved, and
lots of factors play into that.
Yes, yeah.
I'll put it this way.
Yeah.
I always wanted, you mentioned Dubai, right? I always wanted to be eventually somewhat closer to the Middle East region because I'm from there.
That's home, yeah.
Here's home too.
It is,
yeah. But I just felt that it would be a safer environment for raising a family.
America.
No.
Middle East. Yeah, because it's not such a perverse culture. I feel like there's a pretty toxic mainstream popular culture.
You see, the problem is here you have way too many crises. You have the drug crisis. You have a racism crisis. You have religious crisis. You have way too sexism crisis. You have way too many, things happening here that I think is not the best environment for a child that knows nothing.
It's a very tumultuous culture.
Yeah, I mean that's my honest take. You know what I mean? There's way too many things that should not be exposed, I believe, to a child until a certain point in their life. You know what I mean? Until they choose to bring it up, or see, I'm not. It's not about. I'll just put it this way, like growing up in Lebanon.
Yeah, that's interesting. Growing up in Lebanon.
I never had to worry about school shooting. Doesn't exist.
Are people allowed to have guns in Lebanon?
You can have guns.
Lebanon?
Yeah. Doesn't exist.
It's never happened?
Doesn't happen. You don't have a guy walk into the school and just start shooting kids.
Yeah, that's extreme mental anguish.
I mean,
that's extreme.
But you see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Here it's like a trend.
Sadly, yeah. It just happened.
So many times, and it's like, forgive my French, what the fuck, sorry, but it's like, dude. Anyways, that's one thing, right? Then you look at, other things going on in the world, like here, where it's like, let me put it this way. I never understood racism until I moved to America. Does that make sense? Like the
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah.
Like I would hear about it on TV, whatever, blah blah. You know, the U.S. This that. You have CNN. We have, you know what I mean. Like we have all these news channels, but I never understood the concept of it until I actually moved here, and I'm like, wow, people are really that ignorant.
So how many
You know, go ahead.
in Lebanon? How many different cultures exist in?
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, it's very interesting because Lebanon is okay, very like Lebanese, right?
National.
Um, to a certain extent.
Mm.
But then you also have, like the nice dynamics of, oh, I'm Lebanese Nigerian, I'm Lebanese Argentinian, I'm Lebanese
Argentinian.
Oh yeah, my best friend's Lebanese Argentinian.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm Lebanese British, I'm Lebanese. So like because we've left and come back and whatnot, it's like there is such a nice mix and synergy and whatnot over there that doesn't matter, like let's say if you were to come to Lebanon right now, no one's gonna look at you weird, or like make you feel a type of way.
I have to imagine my complexion is pretty commonplace in Lebanon.
But I mean,
no,
if
it's not.
It's not that common,
Oh.
but like you're not gonna be treated like, oh, what's this guy doing in our land? You know what I mean? Or like, what is he like? No one's gonna. If anything, people are gonna greet you. They're gonna want to take you out. They're gonna want to show you, like things and you know what I mean? Like it's like there's a lot of hype and I don't know how to explain it to you.
No, it's a friendly culture. Is what
Exactly.
you're saying, ultimately.
But like for Lebanese themselves, they have a very strong root of like
National pride.
yeah, like if I'm gonna marry, I'm gonna marry in. You know what I mean? Like keep the like keep it as pure. And it's funny because I did my um shit, man. Like 23andMe, whatever DNA test, and my wife did hers. And she came from like she had like very nice colors on her map, and my shit was purple.
All Lebanon.
Like it was like
Concentrated.
You're 98% Levant, so it's just like basically that region,
Pure
and you're 2% Greek.
Oh, Greek. Okay, it's cool.
And it's like, but then again, that area was part of the Greek, like empire. It was part of it's ancient Greece. You know what I mean? You go back in time, like this whole Mediterranean region. So it's like it's just funny to see. And it does say a story there. Like it's like okay, cool. They're welcoming. They do blah blah blah. And that's why I never felt the racism part. Because it's like there was never. It's not you're not racist if you are choosing to culturally keep like a bloodline and whatnot. It's like imagine you're in Africa, okay, and you go to a tribe, and this tribe wants to keep like their bloodline internally within their tribe. You see what I mean? You cannot say that they're racist because they want to keep themselves intern. They want to maintain the purity of their bloodline, and that's not racist. You see what I mean?
I get it. I get it.
But the narrative in the States is different. You see what I mean?
Well, there's context as to why.
Yeah. I mean, there is. That's why, dude. Like, it's sad.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the stains in human history. I feel like.
Well, it is. But you see, like Dennis, what makes it more sad is you see it from every race.
That nationalism, so to speak.
No, that racism.
Yeah.
Like I've literally, I mean, me as a Middle Eastern, like I look and then I see Asians can be racist. I see, like
everybody's tribal.
African Americans can be racist. I can see, like Europeans can be racist. I can see South Americans can be racist. I can see Australians can be racist. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's a very sensitive topic.
Birds of a feather flock.
Yeah.
Together.
But that's and I believe it's funny. I'm not to sound like a nerd or a geek, but
by all means,
I forgot which anime it was when I was like younger. Something. A term doesn't exist until you materialize it.
A term doesn't exist until you materialize it. a term.
Yeah.
What significance does that hold for
So
you?
think about it, okay? You go to middle schools today and elementary schools, and you see this is a drug-free zone. Okay. You mentioned the word drug-free.
Mm-hmm.
Now what you've done is you've implanted the word drug into that child. As children, you get curious,
Mm-hmm.
right? Think about it. Curiosity will lead to two things: good ideas, bad ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Desperate kids that don't have someone guiding them, like in their lives, because mom and dad are too busy working and are never there,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe mom is never there,
Mm-hmm.
or dad is never there,
Mm-hmm.
or they could be both never there. You know what I mean? Like, God, man, all strength to these kids.
Mm-hmm.
When there's no guidance, because that term was labeled there, it triggered a thought. A thought triggered, you know, the whole. It's like a cascading effect of.
Mm-hmm.
Then now I start looking into what this is, and with today technology you have access to everything.
Yeah.
And then you understand and blah blah blah. How do you end up? And this is how you end up having drugs in schools, in middle schools and elementary schools. You see what I mean? Like, it's like, why? Whereas in the Middle East that doesn't exist. Why do I have to put a sign in an elementary school that says this is a drug-free zone? It's an elementary school.
For the teachers.
I mean, dude, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. There's a lot of things overseas that are no-brainers and they don't need to be said. Whereas here, it's like, nobody told me that. It was never written on this piece of paper. Oh, there was a sign. There was no sign that says I'm gonna slip and fall. Like if I walk on water, everyone knows that if you walk on soap and water, on the floor, you're gonna slip and fall. Like it's a no brainer. Oh, the cup of hot coffee never said caution hot. Well, no shit, man.
Oh
it's
man.
it's
People
hot
that.
coffee. What do you expect? You see what I mean? That concept doesn't exist anywhere except for America.
Yeah. I mean,
That mindset. That you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a capitalistic mindset, bro. It's the opinion.
Is it capitalistic?
Yeah, because I drank coffee, I was too hot, burned my lip. I wanna sue you.
But how's that capitalistic?
It's opportunist. Capitalism is opportunism.
Yeah, but you see, like how is it even legally to sue if you are the dumbass who drank the coffee, and burned your lip? You see what I mean?
The court systems.
Not you, but you know what I mean.
Of course, yeah, but the court systems allow for it. Listen,
exactly, but you see that's what I'm saying. Whereas if I was, let's say, in Lebanon and I'm like, oh, I drank coffee from McDonald's and I burnt my lip and there was no sign, they'll look at me, and be like, like they might even question my sanity. Like they might even question if this is a prank.
That makes sense.
You see what I'm saying? Like the fact that you allow this, like you create, a culture of toxicity, a culture. It's the things that they put in. Another funny thing that I read: when a country has way too many laws, that means there's a lot of corruption.
When a country has way too many laws, it means there's a lot of corruption. I think there's a lot of people to manage, so there's a lot of circumstances, unforeseen edge cases that arise.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
No, but I agree. I agree with the idea of corruption.
Like at the end of the day, man, we're all human.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
like there's no, you. It doesn't matter which country you came from or what, like there's no law or rule that says that you cannot learn as much as I learn. And you see what I mean? Like there's no, unless you are genetically impacted and like you fall under, like the umbrella of, like, okay, they're handicapped or you know what I mean? Like it's a genetic thing. You see what I mean? Then you don't really have an excuse. And even the people that are genetically, like impacted, are somewhat more advanced and can be, than people who don't have any issues whatsoever. You know, take for example Special Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I love volunteering there, man.
Ah, yeah.
Like I love it. I love it so much. It's like such a warm, like it's like wow, and at the same time it makes you want to, be do more and make more because when you see that this person in front of you, is physically handicapped or mentally handicapped or you know what I mean, like has some whatever restriction, and they're still able to do the action that you can't even do. You can't even do it. You know what I mean? Like how much respect you have for that person. How wonderful is it to see that, that they're not giving up. So why, when God gifts you with, like when you're gifted, it's a gift, man, to be born, healthy, and whatnot. When you're gifted and you have all these things, are you throwing it away?
Mm.
Are you not, like being grateful for it? Are you not trying to make something out of nothing?
Ah, of course, yeah.
See?
And I mean, that's
Sorry, man. That's a big shit.
no, they're fine, you're fine. But that comes from a healthy mindset. That comes from a healthy mindset. That's a well put together algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Like there was some care put into that algorithm of yours. But not everyone is that fortunate to have such an algorithm.
Yeah, I mean,
So some people have very self-defeating algorithms, a very negative recursion. You know, yeah, a lot of just different experiences, which leads to different outcomes that we see manifest in day-to-day society. People killing themselves, murdering others, people they don't even know, murdering randomly. So I mean, it is what it is, but we just have to make the best with what we have. And what we have is this experience, as we know it. But to wrap up quickly, Wadi, because we definitely.
oh man, so
Yeah,
I think I just bored people talking.
Yeah, the Board Consultant Podcast. This is a really. I'm excited to post this episode, though. I can say that, though. I'm excited to take the
posting
time.
the whole 1 hour and 30.
Well, I'm actually gonna watch it. I'm gonna sit down and watch it, like literally, and then post clips, things like that. But yeah, either way, it's a good experience. So now I want to think of something good to close out with. And I have it. So you, as a seasoned, well-rounded technologist, Wally,
Yeah.
what is the perfect crescendo to your career as a technologist? Whether it be whatever, there's no cap or restriction on what this crescendo, this ending could be.
Man, you're going deep.
I'm excited to see.
You want to end it very deep. But you did actually. I did divert the conversation earlier when you were talking about, the reality of things and
Versus the expectations.
right? And I told you initially, like it's like, oh, I said I want to be a partner in Dubai because we spoke about family, then we just delved into, uncharted territory outside the scope of this conversation, right? Um, but it all goes back to, the three things that we spoke about in the beginning, man.
The pillars.
The pillars.
Discipline. Non-complacence.
Non-complacency. And then the last one was
Technology.
Technology, the passion for technology.
Yeah.
Passion sounds very.
It's real.
I mean, yeah, but like you open LinkedIn and everyone's
passionate about this.
It's like that's the one thing when you're starting out your career, you gotta take off this word because everyone has it, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a reality, you know. Um, and it's I believe that if compared to where what I thought it was gonna be like and where I am today, I still believe I'm on a fast track because of the decisions that I made. Playing Snakes and Ladder. You ever played that game?
Snakes and Ladder. I want to say no.
It's like you roll the dice and then you oh man, it's such a cool game. And then like you just keep going through the snake, right? But there's certain steps that you might end up on the path of these. So imagine the snake is the roadmap.
Yeah.
Okay. And the snake will just you know roll its way up to the top, and the head of the snake is the finish line, and the tail is the starting point. Okay. And now on random slots on that snake, you have a ladder that could take you from this level all the way up to and now you're passing your peers. You see what I mean? To like a certain point. And there's ladders that might take you all the way. Like it's just different ladders and different points of the snake. You see? So the reason why it's called snakes and ladders is because the ladders are like the shortcuts
to new levels.
To the levels.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And you're still gonna keep going up.
That's.
But if you land on a ladder, you're gonna go up way faster. You see? And that's why I said that's that's where that came from. So I've been playing that game in my own career as a consultant.
Okay, so you've been very crafty in navigating your career.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a skill. That's a skill.
But I cannot lie and say that it's all been calculated. Luck does play a role.
Good fortune, yeah.
And I don't know, if you believe, but I believe in God, so I think faith plays a role too.
100%.
A
grounding element.
Yeah, there's definitely. I'm not saying, if you pray to God, you're just gonna get there. But there's a difference between when you try and when you pray and you try. Does that make sense?
Yeah. There's an energizing factor.
Yeah.
To.
Like I feel like doing it without that. Okay, cool. You might get, you'll get something, and just praying. Okay, you might have a peace of mind, but you might not end up anywhere. You see what I mean? But doing both at the same time, I feel like will
a winning combination.
And that's where we spoke about physical health, mental health, spiritual health. Right? That's where that plays a role. You see, in this whole snakes and ladder. And I think like so far, that's how I got to where I got, and I want to say a pretty decent amount of time compared to other peers who have just gotten to where I got today. Like they just got there. I'm wrapping up and going to the next level.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it internally with the company you work in, or you can do it like some of those guys that, or girls that post social media post stuff. I just worked for this company for 1 year, and then I applied at this other company, and now I just got a 100K raise and new title. And then 2 years I just applied at this company, and now I leveled up, and then like 7 years or whatnot, they're already like the director of whatever, because they just
snakes and ladders.
Yeah, but they didn't do it from within.
Yeah,
they did it.
Yeah, that's one. That's like playing the game like James Harden. Do you watch NBA basketball?
Yeah, I do. I used to watch a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Now
things have changed.
Well, you want to laugh? I watched more NBA when I lived overseas than when I moved to the States.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
You can ask my friends if I ever introduce them. Like when they come visit. I used to wake up at 5 in the morning to watch the playoffs.
Wow.
Before school.
Wow.
And now when it's like so easily accessible, All-Star weekend and whatnot.
You're in the lifestyle, my friend. You're in the lifestyle.
I'm like...
You're in the lifestyle. There's no time.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
There's no time. Yeah.
There isn't.
Reality versus expectations. That's what it is. And it's easy to dream a dream, though it's harder to live it. In the words of Wale,
Yeah.
A talented artist But Wadi, this was an awesome edition of the Board Consultant Podcast. I definitely want to thank you for coming on and engaging with me in random, somewhat structured conversation.
Brother, that was wild, honestly, because I feel so bad for you guys.
No, it's okay. It's okay. This video should get me a lot of watch time.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see what the outcome is. But this is it, folks. This is the latest edition of the Board Consultant Podcast with the bona fide consultant himself, Wadi. Well, I don't know if you want to say the last name, Wadi. Yeah, well, Wadi O. We'll go with Wadi O. Radio. Maybe this will end up on the radio someday. Who knows? But that's it, folks. That's it for the Board Consultant Podcast. Denny Da Vinci, senior contributor at the New Cool. Have a good time, everyone.
Thank you guys. Cheers.
That was a cringy ending to the podcast.